Welcome back, and today I'm going to make spaghetti sauce. So let's get started. So I'm going to make this for a large group of people. So what I have is I have several of these cans here of sauce, and then I have a couple cans of some tomato paste. This particular one has pesto. I didn't realize that when I was buying it. So I like pesto, so it'll be fine. And let's get started. So I'm going to just start by putting these cans in. Now normally for one package of ground beef, I would use 2 or 3 of these cans, depending how saucy you want your meat sauce. But since I'm doing a large number of people, I'm going to use a large number of cans. So what I wanted to let everybody know though is I used to buy the prepared spaghetti sauce or tomato sauce, whatever you want to call it. And I found that my husband and I liked the way I do this one a lot better because we could put our favorite spices in and make it just the way we like it. So we've been doing this way for many, many years. But when I was a kid, spaghetti and meat sauce was a staple in our house. We probably had it at least once a week. So this is one of my favorite things to make. So I'm having a party later in the week, and I'm making this now, and then when it totally cools down, I'll put it in the fridge, and then the day of the party, I will be heating it up for hours. So a lot of people might say, oh, I usually make my meat sauce take longer. Well, we will make it take longer, but this is just kind of a time saver. If I get it all cooked up and mixed together, and then I'll, like I said, the day of the party, I will heat it up for hours. All right, so I'm doing a lot of meat, so I have a lot of meat sauce. I have a lot of sauce that's going in. A couple things of paste, so I'll just continue to do this, and I'll be right back. Okay, time to add our spices. Here's my little shopping cart full of spices here. Kind of like in real life at the grocery store where everything's coming out of the cart. Okay, so we're going to start with some roasted garlic. And I'm going to need to make sure I put a generous amount because I'm used to doing it for a lot less people. Except when I have a party, but okay. Lots of garlic in Italian food. Okay. Then I have my spice combination, which also has garlic. I have an empty one of these. We put partial black pepper, partial onion powder, and partial garlic powder. I'll put that in there. And then, most importantly, basil. Very important. And I'm just going to pour some into this cap. We need a lot of basil. If you have fresh basil, that would even be better. Okay. Then I put oregano, Italian oregano. We need a lot of that. And I think I got to open up my new one. The new one. I'm not, I like all the different spices, all the different brands. So that one's McCormick. Oh, this one's McCormick too. Okay. But whatever brand you find that looks good. A generous amount of spices. And then Italian seasoning, which has all the spices in it. So Italian seasoning has, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly, marjorie, basil, rosemary, thyme, more oregano, and some sage. Okay. I'll load everything back up in my little cart and take it back. All right. Now, we're going to put some red wine in here also. So I left one of my cans out. And this is a large amount, so let's see. Now, if you're concerned about the red wine, you don't have to use red wine. Some people use grape juice, which is great also. Not grape juice. Well, you could use grape juice. Grape juice is great too. Grape jelly is a popular way of doing it. So I got about like half the can. The red wine, the alcohol does cook out. So don't worry about that part. And then I'm going to add a little bit of sugar. The sugar helps with the acid, so it's not as acidic. So I'm just going to add about like that much sugar. Okay, so I'm going to mix this up. It smells really good already. This is going to be good. I can tell already by the smell. This is a lot of sauce. When I get to the stove, I will get a larger spoon so I don't burn my hands. I'm just trying to get it pre-mixed up before I even take it over there. And I'm going to use the same spices with my meat. So I'm going to take all my spices over to the range top as well. This needs to continue to get stirred up after it gets heated up. And let's go over to the range top. So we're going to turn on the heat, turn it up to a higher setting, but then once it starts to steam, then I'm going to reduce it to a lower setting. Okay, so I've taken the skin off this onion and I've gotten it ready to go ahead and dice up. And I want to mention that each one of these chubs of meat is a couple pounds. It's 2 pounds a piece. So I'm going to do 1 onion per package of meat, except for these very large onions. That can go for 2 packages of meat. So I have 14 pounds of meat here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I got to rinse off my knife. Skin from the onion. I'm just going to cut this in half, and I'm just going to dice it up on the small side. And this is basic spaghetti sauce. So some people like a lot of vegetables in their spaghetti sauce. I'm doing it for a crowd, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just only going to have the onions and the meat and the red sauce. And I will just continue to dice this up in small pieces, and I have a few onions to go, and then we'll start it on the meat. Okay, I'm on my last onion. Look how big this onion is. So I usually take a different cutting board, what I call the dirty cutting board, and I cut off the ends, and then I just make a little line right here, and then I just start peeling it. Until it all comes off. All right. Just thought maybe I should show that too. There's a little bit of green right there. Okay, and then I'm just going to dice this up like I've done the rest, and look how many I have already. Okay, I had some technical difficulty there. Okay, so I put 4 pounds of meat, so that's 2 packages in my cast iron skillet, because that's what I can go ahead and fit in here and have it cooked thoroughly. And I'm just breaking it up with my spatula. And when this is cooked 100%, after I've added all my spices and everything, then I will add it to my sauce. So, but I can only cook 4 pounds at a time, because that's all it will fit. So as I was saying, I am cooking for like 25 people. So I'm going to turn the heat up here. And this is beef. It's 85% lean. So there's enough oil for it to cook without it sticking to the bottom. Okay, we'll just let that go for a little bit and we'll check back. Okay, so I'm going to add some onions, And I'm just kind of going to guess how much is in the one onion. Actually, 2 onions per 2 packages. I'll get this stirred around. There's a piece that didn't get chopped. So you want to brown your ground meat. Beef. Okay, so that we got the right amount of onion. We'll continue just to let that cook, but while that's cooking, okay, make sure. You want to make sure that you chop it all up so it cooks good. Okay, so again, we are going to go back to adding spices. So we got our combination spice, which is our black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. And we have some basil. Some Italian oregano, which I'll be opening up a new thing of that for the next batch. And then we have our Italian seasoning, which I know has some of that oregano and other spices in it, but I like extra of certain spices. Again, that's why I like to make my sauce myself, because there's certain things I like better. And roasted garlic. Even though I had garlic in my combination spice, I like extra. And I will go to the fridge and get some minced garlic. Be right back. Okay, the minced garlic. So I'm going to do 2 heaping tablespoons of garlic, minced garlic. And if you want to do fresh garlic, that's great too. I'm just doing such a large quantity of stuff. The minced garlic is a time saver for me. So then you want to mix all this up nicely. So it really gets mixed well. Now, as I said, we're trying to put a brown on it. It'll actually taste better. Hope everybody's having a good day. Alright, so I'll just keep on mixing this up and stirring it around, and we'll check back in just a few. Okay, so now it is actually starting to brown. You can see. So I'm going to reduce the heat a bit, because I don't want it to burn. I just want it to brown. And I don't see any pink. So I'm looking, as I'm stirring, I'm looking, and there's no pink, and it's nice and brown. So I'm going to turn off the heat and keep on stirring it up a little. And make sure it doesn't stick. It's actually still, I'm still cooking it. Just I don't need any more heat on here, because with the cast iron skillet, it does stay hot for a while. Okay, so now I'm ready to take this meat and put it into the sauce. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll keep on cooking the meat, and we'll check back in a little while. Okay, so I'm cooking my second batch, but I wanted to mention a couple things. The first thing being is I did have to rinse off my cast iron skillet, because when I was cooking, you get stuff stuck to the bottom, and you don't want that to keep on heating up. So I had to rinse that out before I did my next batch. And also I want to mention my first big pot was not quite big enough, so I transferred everything into this pot. So I will be doing that, and always go for the larger pot. I always end up going for the wrong size, but I did have to. Now I have plenty of room to add my meat. So it's looking good. I'm stirring it occasionally, and I'm cooking the rest of the meat. When I get it all done and I'm put it in here, then we'll check back in just a bit. All right, I am done and ready for the taste test. That did take a little bit of a while. I'm going to show you how much I have here. So that's a lot of sauce. Okay, I made a little bit of pasta so I can do this taste test this evening. But as I said, I'm going to let this cool down completely. I'm going to put it in the fridge, and the day of the party, I will go ahead and heat it up for hours. So it'll even taste better than it already does, but it's 100% cooked and ready for the taste test. Trying to get a good amount here. Bring my bowl up in case I don't want to slobber everything all over the place. That is really, that sauce came out really, really good. The flavors are blended so well. Just the right amount of spice. There's lots of garlic. And you can subtly taste the wine flavor and a little bit of pesto in that tomato paste. This is absolutely delicious. It's one of my favorite meals. I hope it becomes one of yours if it already isn't. So I hope you enjoyed this video. For those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. And if you don't, I hope that you do. And I do have a lot more videos. I have dinners, side dishes, and my favorite dessert. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.